Yeah, good morning, YouTube. So one of the things I think I've learned about charging these batteries, and I'm using 4 volts per cell, so I'm not going very high on the charge. The way it charges is it comes up at a constant current mode up to 4 volts, and then it switches to constant voltage mode and runs down until the current drops to 1/10 of charging current, and then it shuts off the charge. I think what's going on is that when you're running at a lower voltage, these cells take a long time to accept charge at that 4 volt level. They don't charge quickly to 4 volts. If you charge without the balance cables like I'm doing now, you'll do the constant current charge until you get 4 volts back at the charger. The charger will go until it reads 4 volts here, and then it starts tapering off the current. So I'm doing a 3 amp charge. It'll hit 4 volts, 3 amps, and then it starts dropping the current. Drop it by 10%. The voltage drop in these cables also goes down by 10%. What it does is it takes several hours longer to reach full charge when you're not using the balance cable, but you're able to get more total charge into the battery. And if you put more in, you can take more out in the discharge test. So like I was saying earlier, when I did the balance cable, I got about 28.7 amp hours. When I didn't have the balance cable, I got 32.4 amp hours. So I got about 10% more capacity. So you get a faster charge with a balance cable, but you don't get as much total charge. So that's something I learned. And then the other thing here, one thing I'm going to do is maybe increase the float charge time on my charge controller. I think I have it set now to 120 minutes. I might go up to 180 minutes, which I think is their maximum, just so you spend more time at 4 volts per cell to get that last 10% of your charge in there. So I think that is maybe something I should do. Now, if you're running your cells at 4.2 volts, you want to spend as little time at 4.2 volts as possible. Just get them up to charge, taper off the current, and then take them off charge, because you don't want them going over 4.2 volts. But at 4 volts, if I go a few millivolts over 4, it doesn't really matter. You know, if I'm 4.05 or 4.02 volts, it's not really going to hurt anything. One way you could look at that is, oh, I'm just trying to get the biggest capacity number that I can to boost my ego or something like that. But the other way to look at it is, depending on how you charge and discharge these cells, you get wildly varying capacity numbers. And the only repeatable number that you can get is the maximum capacity. As I found with this one, I got anywhere from like 27 to 29 up to 32 amp hours, just depending on how I exactly tested these. And the only number that's really repeatable is that 32.4 number, because that's sort of the peak capacity. Any of the other numbers are just some variable combination of factors that gives you a lower reading. I think it's important to try to figure out how to get the maximum capacity reading when you're comparing cells together, because if you get plus or minus 10%, just depending on how you tested them, you can't make any decisions with that kind of bad data. Where if you can get these plus or minus a fraction of a percent, then that's something you can use to make decisions with. I think it's important to get a really dialed in testing procedure and then do the exact same thing on every battery you test. Okay, YouTube, finished discharge testing pack number 4 here last night, and let's take a look at the numbers. Yeah, there we go, 32.803, and that battery pack back at the end of March tested out at 32.805. That one dropped about 260 milliamp hours. So if I did a capacity test today and then I did another one tomorrow on the same battery, I would get usually within maybe 50 to 75 milliamp hours, but sometimes they were within a 100 or 200 milliamp hours variation. So I don't think I'm seeing a lot of difference in these two, and they definitely haven't suffered over the last 5 months. So I guess what I need to do is I've got to discharge the other 2 packs that are going to go with these. They haven't been in use yet. Those are 2 from my current 6 that I just finished building, so I've got to pick out the other 2 packs, and then I'll put this one together, and then I've got to charge that one up, and that'll complete the bottom balancing. So I still have to, like I say, discharge the other 2 packs that are going in that battery,